Twins married to twins fall pregnant, doctor says stop. His brow furrowed as he took in the two images in front of him. Then, he raced over to their medical charts to find their blood work. It didn't make sense. Briana and her sister watched with growing concern as the doctor's eyes widened further and further in disbelief. "How is this possible?" he muttered. Suddenly, he looked at them with something resembling fear. Briana Dean and her twin sister, Brittany, had a special bond. They were closer than any other twins they knew. But when it came to their dating life, they preferred to keep their love interests quiet until they were sure it was serious. This worked out great for the most part, but this time, Briana really wished she said something sooner. Briana bumped into her future husband at a twins festival in Twinsburg, Ohio. His name was Josh Salyers, and he also had a twin, Jeremy. Brittany and Jeremy casually chatted as sparks flew between Briana and Josh. Soon, they fell in love and it was time to tell Brittany that she finally found the one. But Brittany also had a secret of her own. Briana watched her sister's face transform into shock and awe as she told her all about Josh Salyers. Her reaction didn't make much sense until she returned the favor and told her that she had been dating his twin brother, Jeremy, where things have also gotten serious. The pair were elated. They couldn't have planned it better. But soon, they'd find out that this wouldn't be the fairy tale they were hoping for. Since Briana and her sister were in their late 30s, they decided they wanted to get a fertility check. It was just a precaution, but when they told the doctor that they were dating identical twins too, they were shocked by what the doctor said. Although they were fertile, the doctor warned them against starting a family with their unorthodox partners, but Brittany and Briana wouldn't listen. Soon, Josh and his twin, Jeremy, proposed simultaneously to Briana and Brittany. As in keeping with the way the two pairs of twins have lived their lives, they did everything together. They got married together, bought a house to live together, and eventually, even got pregnant together. Everything seemed to be going great, but deep within the corners of Briana's mind, all she could think of was the doctor's stark warning. Briana tried to ignore the feeling that something wasn't quite right about all this. Perhaps the ideas about how they wanted to live their life was wrong. She held her swollen tummy in her hands as she wished she stayed to listen to what the doctor had to say. What was so important that he discouraged them from starting a family? Disaster was just around the corner. Brittany was 3 months pregnant when she suffered a miscarriage. With Briana 4 weeks behind her, she feared that this same thing would happen to her. They had the same body after all. After an anxious wait, it was as predicted. Briana followed in her sister's footsteps and had a miscarriage at exactly the same time frame. It was a devastating loss, but it didn't discourage them. It was less than half a year by the time Briana and Brittany found themselves pregnant again. This time the pregnancies were smooth and their checkups with their doctor, more frequent. But once again, they faced another warning. They listened as the doctor reinstated how rare the situation actually was and how little they knew about the repercussions involved in such a medical anomaly. Then the doctor looked at their scans. His eyes popped as he took in the two images he held in his hands. Then, he raced over to their medical charts to find their blood work. It didn't make sense. Briana and her sister watched with growing concern as the doctor's eyes darted across their scans and test documents. What was he seeing? Is everything okay? Briana asked as she looked at her sister that lay on the ultrasound table beside her. Then suddenly, the doctor's mind stopped racing. His eyes widened in disbelief as he let out a big sigh. His hands fell to his side as he approached the twins. What was wrong? Was this what he warned them about? But what he was about to say was far beyond anyone's expectations, including his own. The doctor grabbed a chair and sat next to the twins as he explained what the test results were now beginning to show. It was the unknown that he was most nervous about for them. But now, things were starting to become clear. Although Briana's and Brittany's babies are from 2 different fathers and 2 different mothers, they are only respectively cousins. Which means, genetically speaking, Briana and Brittany's children, current or future, as long as they remain with their spouses will always be full biological siblings to each other. Even though they would have different parents, for an OB-doc, this is like winning the lottery. It's really that rare, said their doctor. And for the couples, winning the lottery is exactly what this discovery felt like. Briana and Brittany as well as their husbands were thrilled to know that their children were going to be siblings, especially as they'll be growing up in a house with 4 parents anyway. But not everyone was as happy as the twins once they found out about their unique story. Reporters and journalists raced to interview them, to which they accepted. But the news spread fast, and so did conflicting opinions. Some people disagreed with Briana and Brittany's extremely close married relationship and lifestyle choices. They found it too odd that the grown-up couples lived together, under one house, and were raising their families together. However, for Briana and her sister, as well as their husbands, life couldn't get much better. They didn't let negative opinions get to them.